Good morning. How are you?
How are you, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for coming by. Good morning, Mindsetters. It is July the 21st, 2021. Hey, watching Mindset Mornings on the Mindset Central YouTube channel. Thank you so much for coming by. Let's get this shit going, shall we? Yeah. Hey everybody, happy Wednesday, or as I like to say, Wednesday. It is the middle of the week, it is hump day, it is downhill all the way from here. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard the good ship Mindset as we set sail into territories unknown and explore all kinds of wacky, crazy, fucked up, stupid nonsense. Or is it? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Is it a bunch of bullshit? Or not? Well, that's the beauty of Mindset and Mindset Central is that you have to decide, okay? We present alternative, wacky, weird, strange, thoughtful ideas and concepts, and we have fun while we're doing it, you know? But ultimately, it's your decision whether or not you think this stuff is real bullshit.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Or somewhere in the middle. I don't know. It's up to you, you know? We give you the information, and you figure that shit out. You know? I'm not here to fucking make your mind up for you. It's up to you guys. How's everyone doing? How's Wednesday? As you can tell, I'm in a chipper mood this morning. I actually woke up. I fell out of bed. I dragged the comb across my head. Made my way downstairs and drank a cup. And looking up, I noticed I was late. In the chat, tell me where that was from. First person gets a good morning from Arnold. Yeah. So tomorrow's Friday Eve. I don't know who's on the show tomorrow. I might hit up Percy to see if he's available to jump on. If not, it'll be a solo show, but I'll come up with a good topic that I can yap to you guys about. On Friday, we have Physical Media Friday, a very special Physical Media Friday this week, because we're going to have Crazy John. Crazy John will be on Friday to go over his thousands. Well, we won't go through thousands of DVDs and Blu-rays, but we'll certainly touch on a few. And I got a few new ones this week also, which I'll be showing and talking about and going over. Excuse me. Pardon me. Pardon me. What is it? Pardon me for being rude. It was not me. It was my food. He just popped up to say hello, and now he's gone back down below. Coffee time. Oh, man. Nothing like a good cup of coffee in the morning. Tastes like victory. So last night I attempted to watch Fear Street. That's the new Netflix horror trilogy that they've put out over the last month or two. They put they do part one, then a month later part two, and so on. And it's a three movie horror extravaganza. First one is called Fear Street 1994, which is part one. Part two is Fear Street 1978. And part 3 is Fear Street 1666. Order 66. So, and everyone has been telling me, you know, if you love horror movies, and legend man, I love horror movies. So they're like, you gotta watch these movies. You know, it's like they're totally like, you know, hearkening back to the slasher movies of the 70s and the 80s, and you get like that retro vibe, and it's fun. So I was like, all right, well, I'll give it a shot. So I watched the first one, Fear Street. By the way, I just saw it pop up. Firechild UK, Chris got it right.
Good morning.
Thank you, Chris. You got it right, man. What can I give you? I'll give you a absolutely.
Absolutely. This time you can count on me.
There you go. Yep, you're right. Beatles Day in the Life. I completely lost my train of thought. No, I'm back. I'm back on the tracks. Fear Street, the first one, and everyone's telling me, you gotta watch these movies. They're so fucking great. So, all right. So last night I sat down in front of the telly, put telly on, and I hit play, and I think I lasted about 10 minutes before I bailed. I didn't even watch the whole. I like it was about 10-15 minutes, and I was like, I'm out. This is fucking stupid. But you know, when everyone's telling you it's good, I mean, are they all wrong? They can't be all wrong. They must know what they're talking about. So maybe I'll have to revisit it. I'll do like a Clockwork Orange and have these things on my eyes to force me to watch it. Because I don't know, but 15 minutes, you can't really tell how good a movie's going to be in the first 15 minutes. Maybe it gets a lot better. I don't know. But the first 15 minutes, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Who is writing this? It's like a mental case with a typewriter. You know, but anyway, I'll try to go back and revisit it. Yeah. Do you guys have this though when you haven't seen a movie or a TV show and all your friends and people that you know are like, oh my god, you haven't seen it, you have to watch it, it is so fucking good. Do you get the feeling that if enough people tell you it's good, you automatically think that it's shit? Yeah, that happens to me sometimes. If like one person says, yeah man, you should watch it, it's good, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm into it. I'm like, let's go. But if like 5, 6, 7 people all tell me like it's the greatest thing ever, you can't believe you missed it, you must watch it, even though they might be 100% correct, I always kind of like, I mean, everyone like The Wire. Everyone tells me you gotta watch The Wire. I've never seen The Wire. I've never seen it, but it just sounds so fucking stupid. And the fact that 1 million people are telling me it's amazing makes me think it's probably crap. You know? But I haven't seen it, so I could be completely wrong. It might be one of the greatest shows ever. I don't know. Mrs. Spock. All right, let me scroll back through all these messages, and let's get some good mornings and happy days out to everyone, and name some names and see how everyone's doing on this fabulous middle of the week. Hump Day, Wednesday. I just had like a weird it is Wednesday, right? Let me just check. Yeah, okay, it's Wednesday. I don't know, sometimes the days just flow into each other, baby. All right, let's see. Let me get my my effects lined up here. Okay, first in the door this morning. First one to boot the door open and pile into the room and kick back and put his feet up and make the place his own was, of course, D-Row. And he says,
Good morning. How are you?
Good day to you from Scotland. But instead of good day, I'll say happy day.
Happy day to you.
There we go. Welcome aboard. Next person to come in was, of course, the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, guitar player extraordinaire. And did he win the Tony L game on? I can't remember, but he was an integral part of the Tony L game on Friday. Mr. Frank Triggs. Frank Triggs.
Good morning. How are you?
Gareth, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. I said, looking at my kitchen sink. Oh my God, that's scary. Speaking of Tony L, of course, here he is. Hey, Tony L, how you doing over there? Good to see you, Tony. Or Anthony.
Good morning.
I've often. Do you prefer Tony or Anthony? Could you tell me in chat, Tony? I prefer Tony. Hey, Tony. Toxtus O'Grady says, morning, Mr. G. Hope you're well. I am, Toxtus. Thank you so much for asking. Anthony always says bars. That's on my other profile. Let's see. Karen Hoyle is here. She says good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Gareth and everyone else. Sounds like it'll be an interesting stream. I'm hoping so. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. In about 20, 25 minutes, Colin Woolford will be joining us. If you don't know who Colin is, shame on you. No, but excuse me. Whoa. If you don't know who Colin is a ufologist in the UK. And dare I say it, an expert on the Alien Autopsy footage. So we'll get into that and we'll talk about it. I do have the footage which I can play, but I don't know whether I should because I don't want all this copyright bullshit. It fucking drives me mental. I want to play the stupid thing, but I'm gonna have the fucking the Gestapo on my fucking back. So I don't know. Is it public domain? I don't know. Is it? I don't fucking know. I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out. Anyway, let's see what else we got. Sublime Exploration is here, and he says, of course, I'm gonna have to do it.
Happy day to you.
And of course,
Do it now.
hit the button.
Immediately.
There we go. Let's see what else we got. Steve Burrell is here. Is here. Steve Burrell is here. Is here.
Immediately.
Good morning.
And good afternoon to everyone else, says Steve. Or Simon, rather. Sorry. Oh, Yo Gareth, says Sublime. There you go. Okay, can you stop popping up all these fucking buttons every minute? Anthony's got the right idea. Like, subscribe, do it now.
Do it now.
Now's a perfect time as any. If you have not subscribed to the Mindset Central channel, please do so. Please join us. Join us.
Do it now. Immediately.
Come on, do it.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a share. All that fucking bullshit. Get your ass over here. Join the party. You know it's the thing to do. You know you should do it. Let's see. Firechild UK. I said hello to Chris earlier because he got the Beatles thing right, and of course I should say he says afternoon all. But you know what, Chris? I'm gonna give you a good morning anyway.
Good morning.
And hopefully you're feeling better and doing well. Number one fan is in the house. He says, "Morning, Gareth. I'm gonna give the number one fan a happy day."
Happy day to you.
There we go. Dark Corners UK. Dark Corners UK is in the house. He says, good morning. I'm going to give you a good morning too, Dark Corners.
Good morning.
Let's see. Looking down. Dinkum Ozzy is here, and Dinkum Ozzy says, my state is in a 7-day lockdown. My state. Is it really your state? Or is it the state? Yeah. I understand the terminology that you're formulating there, Dinkum, but it's like it's the state. It's not your state. The state thinks you belong to them, not vice versa. Anyway, let's see. Punches Counts is in the house, and he says, good morning, Vietnam. Wrong show, Punches, but I'll give you a good morning.
Good morning.
Let's see. Who else is in here? Mr. Barry Crump has decided to join us. Good morning, Barry. How the devil are you? I'll say good morning to Barry.
Good morning.
Good morning, Gareth, and to all the mindsetters out there. I'm sitting in the cool of the potting shed, eating a tub of rum and raisin ice cream while contemplating the reason for my existence.
Good morning.
There you go. And I'll give you a happy day.
Happy day to you.
Oh, you absolute rotter. He's come to a conclusion, too, folks. We got to do the conclusion. Barry comes to the conclusion. I've come to the conclusion that I've opted for the Tutti Frutti, if I can speak, the Tutti Frutti flavor instead. Heck, I might just have that as well. It saves having to cook. There you go, Barry. It sounds like a great plan, man. Hook it up. Simon Burrell says he watched Revisiting the Gulf Breeze sightings, UFO sightings on YouTube. Was that the I can't think of the title. It might be. Was that the video that I mentioned on the Mindset podcast? It's fairly new. In fact, it's very new. It's about a month old. With two YouTubers, they made like an 1.5-hour documentary trying to investigate the Gulf Breeze sightings. If it was that video, I thought it was superb. I really enjoyed it. These YouTubers, I don't know who they are, but they have a YouTube channel. I don't know what it is. I just found the video and watched it, and I really enjoyed it. But let me know if it was that one, Steve. Why do I keep calling you Steve? Simon. Let me know if that was the one, or if it was something different. I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. I'm scrolling. Everyone's talking about. Hello. It's hot. There you go. Oh, here we go. Barry's on about. Let's see. Due to the oppressive heat, I couldn't sleep last night, so I decided to get up and amuse myself with a few gin and tonics. Listen to Derek. This bloke came up to me and he said, hello. I said, you what? He said, hello. I said, fucking audacity of the fucker. Yeah, Peter Cook and Dudley Moore were both Oxford Why can't I speak today? Oxbridge educated men who decided to take drunken demeanor along to the gutters of filth and depravity, which for me, yeah, I agree completely. I'm a big fan of Derek and Clive. I thought they were amazing, and I love Pete and Dud also. Lots of fun. What else we got? The worst job I ever had was cleaning out the lobsters. No, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to go there. But if you want to figure out what the worst job that Derek and Clive ever had, go check it out. I was Malibu Boo Bum Bum. That's all I'll say. Check it out. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I mentioned this yesterday. Toxic O'Grady says, we Brits are wacky when it comes to weather. Whether it's too hot or too cold, you can't win. Yeah, that's true, man. I was saying this yesterday. I mean, it's hot over there right now, right? And everyone's bitching and moaning and, wah, I don't like it. It's too hot. Wah. You know, nobody likes it. Right? Now, 2 months from now, when it's freezing cold, pissing down with rain every day for a month, you're going to be longing for the days where it was too hot. So snap out of your fucking nonsense and enjoy it. Stop complaining. Enjoy it. It will not last forever. It will be over and gone, and you'll be back to the fucking overcast, drizzle, rain, wind, all that fucking bullshit that you deal with on a normal day. So the fact you've had a couple of weeks of beautiful weather, relish it. Don't complain. Enjoy. Oh my God, you can't do. Let's see. Scrolling. Though the words are flowing. Okay, here we go. Barry Crump. Gareth, here's a good game for you. Try guessing the film from its synopsis. All right, okay, so we got one. Let's see. Gareth, which 1970s British horror film is this? Cannibalistic A cannibalistic shape-shifting alien infiltrates a country house occupied by two lesbians and proceeds to study their behavior for sinister purposes. That's easy. It's Prey. Boom, boom, come on. Am I good? It's fucking Prey. We've got to pray because we need it today. Yeah, it was Prey. Well, not Prey. Prey. Yeah, and I have that movie on Blu-ray. You're out there thinking, that movie's on Blu-ray? That piece of garbage movie's on Blu-ray? What the fuck? I'm surprised the TV's on fucking DVD. I thought it was on VHS and that was it. But anyway, there you go. Let's see. Punches says, "I'm sorry to say, but you Brits don't know what hot is. But I feel for most of you not having AC. Yeah, Punches is of course 1,000% correct. If you're all over there complaining, I got to keep the window open. It's so hot. I don't like it. But if you move to fucking Texas for a week, 2 hours into being there, you want to blow your fucking brains out. It's so hot and humid. Yeah. Let's see. Adrian is here. He says, "Hi, Gareth." Well, Adrian, because you came by and you said hi, I'm going to give you a good morning.
Good morning.
You know what the hell? I'm also going to give you a happy day.
Happy day to you.
So there you go. Let's see what else. Toxic O'Grady says to Punches were a bunch of snowflake moaners. Wah. I don't like the heat. Wah. I don't like it. Wah. Wah. It's not right. Yeah. Wah. Let's see. That happened with The Fourth Kind so much time. Yeah, another one. Everyone keeps telling me to watch The Fourth Kind. I have not seen it yet. And once again, the feeling I have, because so many people are telling me to watch it, the feeling that I have is that it's probably going to be stupid. Right? It's probably going to be like a really lame movie. But I haven't seen it. So I could be wrong. Might be great. I don't know. but the feeling I have, my innate feeling burning up from inside me, leans toward it's probably going to be a bunch of fucking nonsense. But what do I know? Let's see. There you go. He says, it is Prey from 1970. Yeah, I told you that. Cheese 6.2. Yeah, connoisseurs of cheap grindhouse style. Absolutely. What else we got? Dark Corners UK says, not feeling too cracky today, but I think I have a bit of summer cold on the way. Maybe a bit of Mark Rebrulé will pull that funk. You know what, Dark Corners? I tell you what, dude. You're a fucking genius, because this will help us all. It's the middle of the week, and it is downhill all the way from here into the weekend. I might take next week off work, by the way. I haven't told anyone yet, but I might take next week off. Just saying. If I do, come here. There's more. Come here. Come here. Remember that guy? Fucking, what was his name? Jiminy Cricket or whatever the fuck? Come here. There's more. Come here. Is he still around? I wonder if that fucking retard is still on the comedy circuit. Come here. What the fuck am I doing? I'm the only one here. I'm like, hey, listen. I gotta tell you something real quick. Listen. If I do, I haven't fully decided yet. I might, but I am going to be taking some time off. But if I do take next week off, what that will mean is maybe not every day, but Mindset Mornings could go a little longer. I wouldn't have to be like, at 7:30. Okay, that's it. Bye. We're in mid-sentence. Bye. I won't have to do that. I could kind of go a little more. Anyway, we'll see. This is speculation time. Anyway, we were talking about Dark Corners UK, and he wanted some Mark Rebrulé. So who am I to deny him? Of course. Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and then they got go on. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up. Get up.
There he is, the great, the one and only Mark Rebrulé with his Anchor. Is it Anchor beer? I was looking for that online the other day. I thought, you know what? Let me get some fucking Mark Rebrulé beer for the Friday Night Howl, so I can hold it up and be like, this week's episode of the Friday Night Howl brought to you by glug 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 glug. But no, I couldn't find any. So wherever I decide to consume on this week's Friday Night Howl, it will not be Anchor beer unless something changes from now till then. But you never know. Anyway, let's jam, man. Are you subscribing yet? You need to subscribe. Come on, what's wrong with you? Oh, and don't forget to hit those thumbs up. Give me some love. Give me some thumbs up. We're up to like 19. Let's get to 25. Come on, guys. Come on. You should know the drill by now. You hit the fucking button. What's wrong with you? Why, yeah, you ought to. Okay. Let's get serious. Are you ready to discuss the strange, the unusual, the bizarre? Are you ready to head down to paths unknown and discuss the world-famous and highly controversial Alien Autopsy film? Yes, yes. Well, hopefully you are, because I'm going to bring in Colin Woolford right now. Let me see if I can give him a call. Let's bring in Colin. You right, Cole? All right. And then we'll get into it. We'll discuss these crazy things that. Let's see if he's Come on, Colin. Throw me a freaking bone here. Is he typing? There he goes. All right. Okay, let's bring in Colin. Let's get him going here. Hey, man. Are you there? There he is. There's Colin. Boom.
Let me just adjust that a little bit.
There you go. You can kind of line yourself up. Into
that's my drink there. That's
is it alcoholic? To be honest.
No, it's
what is that?
That's summer fruits.
Summer fruits.
I think it's like a 2 liter. I literally drank that in the space of the last 20. I just drank nearly all of that in the last 25 minutes.
Holy shit, dude! You must be fucking living in the bathroom.
It's just because it's like, it is warm here, and I'm up in the roofs, and the heat trap.
Yeah. When you. Oh, there you. What is that? Oh,
but it says I think it's that's a Bulmer's glass, but no, I could pretend it's Bulmer's.
I know. For a second there, I was like, oh, he's on the sauce, isn't he?
Yeah, no, that's can't work out the camera, but no. I mean, sometimes I have been on the sauce that early, but
yeah. Well, on a beautiful sunny day, Colin, as you know, there's nothing better than an ice cold beer.
That's right. You know
what I mean?
And a cider as well, because I must admit I do have the odd cider. And
ice cold, hot day, it's like heaven on earth.
Absolutely, especially if you've been working hard. Like I know we had this discussion before.
Yeah,
it's something to look forward to. And it just, it doesn't even touch the sides of your neck, does it?
Yeah.
When it just glides.
You know what? If it wasn't 6:30 in the morning right now, I would crack one open.
Yeah, because I've got a time difference of about 2:30 here. So.
Yes, but 8 hours. You're 8 hours in the future, Colin.
So I can do things at 8. It's at this time that you're not allowed to do there.
Exactly. And as you're in the future, what are the lottery numbers for today? If only. Well, how you doing, man? I haven't spoken to you in a while. I know you survived the bases at the barge. We had Ben on the other day who regaled us with all the stories over there. How was it for you? You have a good time?
Yeah, no, it was great. We had a good time. I don't know if you saw the video that Ben made of that, but he actually filmed quite a lot of the conversation we had on the drive down there. It's quite entertaining. And you've done that before, but no, it was good. It was a good event. I wasn't speaking there, but it was very enjoyable to meet up with people that I'd seen before, obviously, and it was a sold-out event. The barge, not far from where Miles lives, actually, just about a 15-minute drive from his house. So it was, it was great. I had a really good time, and that was 9th, 10th, and the 11th, I believe, of July. So it's pretty cool, and I've got another event tomorrow. It's actually starting tomorrow. I'm actually meeting up with Ben later on after.
Oh yeah. He
literally
told me.
Once I leave here, I'm literally getting the 2:40 train to London Waterloo, and I'm meeting Ben in funny enough Leicester Square, because he's actually coming to London, and we're going to do a little video about UFO. Well, there's and I think Ben didn't know about this, and I actually remember reading about this story at the time. But there was a story connecting UFOs and Soho, this sort of centre of London, where a lot of life and debauchery goes on. And maybe I won't reveal what the story is, because then you can watch the video. But it connects with Soho and the UFO subject, and hopefully, and then what we're going to do, we're going to come back. We're only doing a couple of hours there, maybe max, maybe not even that long, but and then come back here, and I'm going to drive to Watford, because Ben will be staying overnight at a friend a good friend called David who lives in Watford, so that he's not far from the venue for
Is
tomorrow.
Ben speaking? He's speaking, right? Or is he just
Yeah,
going?
he's replacing Kerry actually.
Oh, there you go.
Because Kerry is in quarantine, I believe. She has to do one more day, so she can't even appear at her own conference tomorrow. But she'll be there Friday, as far as I'm aware. She's in England now because she was over in Corfu. But it's all this bullshit about the PCR tests and all this sort of stuff.
To be honest though, Colin.
Yeah.
I'd really like to avoid going there, if you know what I mean.
Oh, right.
Because we have these draconian policies. I understand.
I've
already been burned by them once, so I think
well, let me change the subject completely. But the other thing that I just mentioned to Ben, actually, that what we can do on the way, well, actually before we even leave, not far from where I live, but hopefully we're going to get some footage of this Templar vault, which is in Hounslow, which was a big story last December. And supposedly there's a vault under a riverbank in Hounslow, of all places, and it's connected with the Knights Templar and even rumours of the Holy Grail and things like that. So we're going to hopefully check that out as well. So that'll be fun.
Interesting stuff. Now, as you know, and the audience knows, is that you are world famous, Colin, for your. You know where I'm going, right? Of it's world famous or world infamous, I don't know, but of the Alien Autopsy film, right? And it's a
Yeah.
Ahead,
to be fair, I actually talk about a lot of other.
No, I know, yeah.
But yeah, to be fair, that is the only real presence on Facebook I have under that Alien Autopsy Analysis Facebook page. If people haven't checked that out, you can join. And I try and post some things that are relevant to the whole alien, not just the Alien Autopsy, but alien subject in general, and from the ufological point of view. But yeah, I mean, that's something I started 2015 now, so it's been quite a few.
I'm trying to get your thing, because I'm only getting like your chin up. Can you move the camera just to get your face there? Oh, there, a little bit more, just a little bit down. Put it down. There we go.
Oh,
we're almost there. That's better. Much better.
I don't know.
Is it gonna hold?
Is that better?
Oh, dude, night and day. Much better. Thank you.
Okay, I literally got this leaning against the TV with like a little stand attached to a mobile phone. It's
there you go. That's how most things are held together. Bubblegum and duct tape. Just everything's
if
balancing.
You saw it, you wouldn't be. This is. But there's my books. My books behind me there.
There you go.
That's just to show that I've actually read some books about.
Yeah, you are.
Well, I've got. I'm not saying I read any of them, but. No, I have.
Well, I'm the same way. Look behind me. All these fucking stupid things, man. All these dopey books about all kinds of crazy bullshit. So let's get into it. I know that you do talk about and discuss many other subjects in the vast realm of ufology. But the thing that really makes you stand out amongst everyone else is the Alien Autopsy. Because the Alien Autopsy is a piece of footage that gained world renowned, became very, very famous in the mid-90s. But it's also a piece of footage that most people, the vast majority of people out there, dismiss and say it's an obvious fake, it's all bullshit, and that's the end of that, including a lot of respected ufologists. But then along you come and say, no, that shit is real. Right?
Well, I mean, what I kind of say is that I don't even go necessarily. I mean, that is like true. I do say it's real, but I think the main thing I say is that I believe that there's a conspiracy that covered it up. So that sort of covers me. I mean, you don't even have to say that it's 100% real, or you can say that bits of it, but it was definitely an attempt to cover up what was happening back in 1995. But hand on heart, I do generally believe that footage is real, and the debris footage as well, because we're not just talking about just that.
Right.
I think it's 15 minutes. It was shown on, this Fact or Fiction, Alien Autopsy, Jonathan Frakes back in 1995.
Yeah.
August 28th, 1995. So we just had the 26th anniversary coming up, I guess. But last year was the 25th anniversary, so wanted to do something for that. But obviously, some things got in the way here at other world events. But yeah, it wasn't just about that piece of footage. I mean, it was this 2.5 minute debris footage, and there's this mysterious other. I know we've talked about this on the Mindset a few times about this other piece of footage that some ufologists saw, which was another autopsy, which a similar looking being, but its leg was actually intact,
right.
And it was a more gynecological type exam. But yeah, the real crux of it is then that I'm saying. I mean, I kind of came out and said this in 2015 when I started my page, and I was going through a lot of the old information because I was around, I was a researcher back in '95. I was following it. I bought the, I could actually get it if you wanted me to.
Yeah, this is the original VHS tape, right? The original tape from what, 95 or 96?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to remember where I put it. It's either in my cupboard or.
Well, if you don't worry, if you can't, don't worry about it.
No. If you want to just fill for 10 seconds.
Yeah,
let me
go ahead. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Colin is now going through voluminous amounts of books and videos to find the original Alien Autopsy VHS tape. I think this was the first tape that was released to the public. Of the Alien Autopsy back in 1995. So, Colin, this tape you're about to show us this was the original release, right? The original thing.
Well, it's interesting. Actually, I found something else interesting.
Wow.
I bought about. Yeah, because the story was. Let me just get that. Does that work? It's like a slight delay in the camera, so every time I move.
I know.
But it doesn't matter. I don't know if you can see this, but this symbol here, Merlin, can you read that?
Yeah.
So that's basically Ray's company that he set up.
So that's Santilli's company, Merlin.
Well, it was at
Merlin
the time. I don't think that exists at the time, but Home Entertainment, and he did a video. I mean, because the rumor was that, well, it wasn't a rumor. He claimed that they went to Cleveland, Ohio, to basically tracked down some old movie footage of famous rock and roll stars, and that I think Elvis was one of those. This is back in the days before the internet, so they had to sort of put adverts in the local papers and what have you. And he went along with his colleague Gary Shoefield, went to Cleveland, Ohio, and apparently they made some deals for some footage. It was never made clear whether he actually did buy some Elvis footage in the end. But the story goes basically that either that cameraman, who was a freelance cameraman in the 1950s, he filmed supposedly this very rare early footage of Elvis, and it's not totally clear whether this cameraman also said, well, if you're interested in buying that, would you be interested in some other footage I have, which I recorded while I was, in the army. He was a sort of he was an army photographer.
He was like a military documentarian filming stuff.
Basically filming. And he had like one of those Filmo cameras, the small handheld type. But I mean, this is going back in obviously the 1947.
Right.
But so yeah, he said, and it's sort of an alien autopsy. So I guess Ray was very intrigued. He didn't actually have the footage. I think his son lived in Cleveland, Ohio. So what happened? He flew back to I think it was Clearwater, Florida, and this old boy who was maybe in his nearly 80 back then. This was 1992, remember? Yeah. So he was probably late 70s, if not
early 80s.
In his 80s,
so he's long gone now. Right.
I mean, unless he's got some sort of. But we do know he had a son, and we do know he had definitely had a son. So his son, let's say, may have been like at least 20 years younger, possibly 20, 30 years younger than him. So I'd like to think that he's still alive, and But yeah, so basically he showed this footage. He had this old, movie camera, and sort of projected it on the wall, and with the original footage or some of the reels, because I think he had like 30 reels. So I guess each reel was maybe 1 to 2 minutes, because these canisters at the time you could only film such a short period. So I think Ray actually saw enough to be really intrigued by it. He didn't know nothing about UFOs, and there's been claims that this was Roswell, but as I say on my group page, that this isn't the Roswell crash. It was actually another crash. There was a whole number of crashes, and a lot of them seem to have happened in that New Mexico area. And this was a crash, according to the cameraman. He later brought out a statement, and he said it was a crash at Socorro, May 31st, 1947, in New Mexico. Yeah, and it's interesting.
So this predated Roswell, then? Yeah,
it predated. And I'm not sure if you're aware of the new. Let me just skip this. While I've got all these props with me, that's the book.
Oh, yeah, I've been meaning to pick that up. I've heard very good things about that.
If you actually look at the map, I don't know if you can actually see. This is the map. Can you actually see that on the front cover? There's got a picture of San Antonio, New Mexico, and then you've got Socorro just above it. So these are this crash was actually 1945, and this is August 1945. So it's very interesting. I've read quite a few bits of it, but yeah, it's interesting that Socorro is literally just up here, and then you've got.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of or listened to a couple of interviews with Jacques Vallée concerning this book, and it's very intriguing. How is it so far? Is it good? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, no, it's really good. He's going into a bit of the history of Trinity and all that stuff. So he is actually covering, he goes from one subject to the other, but. It's got bits from Paolo in it. It's like a joint book. There's a lot of intrigue, and the story itself is really sort of very, very interesting because these young children who are 9 and
very
7
well
years,
researched, also, right? But is very well researched, but I think the aliens that they pulled out of the craft in the Trinity case, they were humanoid, but they were very insect-like. More along the lines of like small praying mantis or something, I guess.
Are you talking about the San Antonio one in the book?
The crab.
These kids only saw them from a distance because they were looking down. But he was saying that they looked like they were speeding up every so often, almost like they were sliding around the crash site. But because they later went into this crash vehicle. Because they were actually monitoring it for a number of days, and they saw the retrieval team. And there's actually a bit where they had actually loaded it up onto one of these, these loaders, and one of the kids had actually sneaked in there and actually pulled a part of that was actually inside. Although there's some debate whether this was actually part of the craft or something the military had sort of pinned, and it does look more like a human type object. But it's a very interesting case. But yeah, going back to
there you go.
So
let's put this in context, Colin, because that's the original tape from what, 1995?
Yeah, this was only available for £33, and I guess the equivalent, whatever that would be in dollars, which is even though tapes can. They were not that. Maybe in the 80s they were, but no one paid £33 for any videotapes back then. So I've been even very. But you have to remember, I was also. You did. You got dedicated. I was already dedicated 5 years dedicated to the site. I'm now a subscriber to UFO magazine and stuff, and I just thought,
So was that tape? Was that the first release of the footage, like before the Jonathan Frakes, Fact or Fiction? What came first, that tape or the broadcasts?
Well, funny enough, really, it actually was. I think it was supposedly released at the same time. It may, if you're lucky, you might have just got this a day before. I seem to remember getting it. I can't remember now. It may have arrived in the same week, literally. But what was different from this and the actual footage you see in the like the Fact or Fiction Jonathan Frakes show is that that's all been edited together. If you actually watch this tape, and I've actually sort of filmed it and put it up in my group, so you can sort of watch it. Although it's pretty poor quality because of the VHS, but what is interesting, it's actually the way it's different is that it's actually all the different reels of film. So each one had like a heading, which is actually given just before they showed the footage, like reel I don't know, reel 50, and then it might mention like head or something. It's like kind of each reel is referring to a different.
So they weren't like the version that we're all familiar with seeing is like everything's it's one continuous.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing is you're seeing breaks in between. Each reel. Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
wow.
And you can. I think I have actually posted. Maybe I'll put a link up. Somewhere,
please do. Yeah.
But it's actually worth just watching it to see how it was actually presented, because all these little clips, like some of them like a minute and a half. I think originally some people said each, he had like literally 30 film reels, or there's different stories about how many different reels he bought. Some I think said 22 film reels, and there was a leader footage. And the other thing that's different, and for this is actually narrated by Brian Blessed.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, Gordon's alive.
Gordon's alive. Yeah, Gordon's alive. Yeah.
So and it's a little.
Do you think that when he dies, he'll have that on his tombstone? Gordon's alive.
Well, yeah. He's going to say Brian's dead.
Brian's dead.
Oh no, that's a bit harsh. But I think actually Brian Blessed is actually interested in all these sort of subjects. So maybe that's why he agreed to do it. I don't know, but he does like. I think he's interested in these. Stories of ancient civilizations and strange animals, creatures, and stuff. But
that tape has never been released since, right? The tape that you have, it just came out like the once. And
you could only buy it on mail. You couldn't go into your local, I don't know, VH1 or HMV back then and get this because this was
it's only mail order.
Yeah, you had to do it mail order from again. It was it doesn't say Merlin on here, so it just says Roswell footage 1995, and you get an exclusive interview with Philip Mantle, Ray Santilli. But the other thing I should say, the only thing that's different, that there is actually an extra, literally 2 seconds of footage, which doesn't sound like much, but it's actually the leader footage. At the very start of the very first film reel, you will actually see supposedly the cameraman going up the steps into this autopsy room, which is supposedly a lab which was set up in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. So it's quite a controversial piece of footage, even though it's only like 2 or 3 or 4 frames. And there was a huge, big debate about, because obviously this piece of footage didn't have the alien on it. It was supposedly just the cameraman going into the autopsy room. But Ray was sort of used this for Bob Shell to sort of work out the age of the film. But since then, people have said, "Oh, it's from something else." Some people have said it's from a baseball, changing room or something like that. But yeah, it's very interesting because you can see some steps going up into this lab type room, and so that's another bonus for the.
And that's only available on that video.
Only available,
yeah. So Colin, let me ask you, because like I said at the beginning when we first started talking, is that most people, the vast majority of people, including most ufologists, would come out and say that the footage is 100% fake, that it's not real. So what makes you different to them? Why do you think that the footage is real?
I think the sheer amount of footage, usually when you fake stuff, I mean, not so much alien bodies, but even the alien body stuff and footage of supposedly aliens, it's very short. I mean, I know this being is dead, but there's a hell of a lot of footage for a start. So that would cost a lot of money, and you'd also need to, it wasn't just this footage. Like I say, there was another autopsy. There was also the debris footage. So there's also a hell of a lot of money invested just by looking at what looks very graphic. It's I don't know if people are aware of autopsies, and it was something I was took an interest in looking at some human autopsies just to see how it compared. It's kind of very sort of gruesome stuff, but very interesting human body, as are alien bodies. But I guess also that the time period was 1947, and all the items were dated to that period. So if it was a hoax, someone has gone to a huge amount of money for something that was supposedly not even going to be marketed, because the race originally was only just going to do a straight to video release. It wasn't going to be shown around. I think he really didn't think I mean, obviously he knew he had something very controversial and shocking, but it kind of was taken out of his hands.
Well, to be fair though, Colin, I mean, he did make vast amounts of money, like millions on this thing, you know.
He sold it to every country. I think he sold the rights of it, and he to everyone and all these different countries, and they could do their own investigations and put their own money into it. But yeah, you're right. He did make a huge amount of money, and I'm sure he's one of the few people in ufology actually who's living very nicely off the back of it all. But it just seemed like that for what it was. There was just so much attention to detail, so much. You would have to buy all the props. If it was a fake, you'd have to create the bodies. You'd have to make it look real.
Not just the bodies though. There's the debris footage, right? Yeah. I mean, you'd have to manufacture all that shit.
Well,
but now let me get this straight, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm nowhere near as up on this shit as you are. There was 3 autopsy films, right? That now publicly we've only seen one, but the other 2 have been seen by lots of other people, right? Is that correct?
Not quite true. The other 2 pieces. One was the other autopsy I mentioned earlier, which was only ever seen by Maurizio Baiata, Italian UFO researcher, Reg Presley of the Trogs, who was quite into his crop circles at the time, Colin Andrews, and the famous crop circle researcher, Philip Mantle, and his wife. But literally, you could count on, I think, one hand the amount of people who did see this other footage, and it was far more graphic and far more clearer. And I don't know if there was some issues with that footage because it was so much more clearer, and they felt because it was of a gynecological nature, and it's been described how the legs are literally opened up and a metal instrument is inserted in the vagina, and something is literally pulled out. So again, it's something. Would you really do that or go all that length on a hoax? And also, of course, the other body was very badly burned or scarred or possibly shot. There was and the claim that
wasn't there claims also of footage where one of these creatures was on the floor screaming?
That was Mike Maloney. He came forward about a few years, maybe a year or so after. He's a famous press photographer. He's a famous photographer, OBE, and there's actually a clip, you can watch it online, where he talks about having visited the Disney studio, the original Disney animators, I think the ones that were made Snow White, and apparently after meeting these people, I don't know if it was a source connected to these animators, he went back to someone's house again where they showed some old movie footage, and he said it was the same movie, it was the same footage, but he said that there was one, or the same room, the same like autopsy room that we saw in this footage, and he said that like one was literally on the floor and it was still alive, crawling around. It sounds pretty. Yeah. I mean, on this guy though, I mean, he's a very respectable person, and this he actually did reveal his diary entry because he kept diaries in the 70s. This was about. I think
so this was in the mid to late 70s. He saw this thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he actually showed apparently the diary entry to, I think, Philip Mansell. So he could validate that he did see this thing, and he from his diary entry. I guess it was only after obviously it was shown on TV that he talked about it, because maybe he felt. But he actually said that one was being operated on or something, and one was sort of crawling on the floor. I mean, it sounded pretty horrific. Whether that's disinformation or not, but a lot of other people have also said they've seen this.
But what would he have to gain to lie about that?
Well, exactly.
To make something, it's like.
I know. This is why it's such. It's not just him. There's the story of Clifford Stone. Also looking down into when he was at Fort Belvoir in Virginia, and they looked down into a window, looking down into an auditorium, and they saw these military guys being shown footage. This is in the 60s, I believe, of black and white footage of similar things to what he saw on the autopsy footage. So And there's a couple of other people, have come forward. I think that's in Philip's book. So, yeah, I mean, and then you've got sort of obviously Kit Green came out 2019, and and there's that.
I was just going to bring that
but,
up.
I mean, yeah, and just to say the other piece of footage that you might have been referring to was the tent footage, and that was not connected to Ray. It was something made in a barn a year earlier, in 1994. I think because Ray had started talking about that he had seen this footage, and I think either for a prank or that they felt that they wanted to sort of, maybe they didn't believe him, but these guys that Ray knew, they created this in Milton Keynes, ironically, and in a barn, and it's very poor. But there was some confusion in '95 when Ray, for whatever reason, thought that this film actually came when he was transferring all when he was transferring over the footage onto VHS or whatever. He was under the impression that this tent footage came from that, but supposedly when he asked the cameraman said he didn't remember seeing that, and whether Ray had been pranked or there was something more sinister going on, I don't know. But yeah, the tent footage is really, I mean, I don't even try and talk about it because it is very distracting from the actual impressive other autopsies.
So it's completely the only thing that connects it is because it has the word autopsy in it, right?
Well,
it's not the same deal.
No, I think
it's different.
Well, Reg Presley first mentioned about this tent footage in January '95, so that he'd sort of seen it, but it wasn't clear back then, what the provenance was of that piece of footage. But it was kind of Reg who mentioned it on this Anne and Nick morning show, and that's how it all got out. But the actual real footage wasn't first seen till about, like April. I think April is definitely the date when it was first seen, the first autopsy, because the other autopsy, the one that only those 5 people saw, was shown first to those. And then when they showed it at the Museum of London on May the 5th, they were quite surprised because they thought they were going to see the same footage again, but it was another autopsy. It was actually the ones, as obviously
that we all know. Yeah.
Today, and so that for them was quite a shock.
So what has happened to that footage then?
This is one of my big things that I always beat the drum about, because I would always, if I got into someone with an argument about this, and I've had a few, I would always refer them to, well, why would you not release that footage? Because even if you believe Ray's story, and we haven't mentioned that Ray changed his story 2006, he said it was a recreation, but even accepting that, I'd pay another £33 to watch that piece of footage, because I'm quite happy, thinking that there is some stills available of it. I mean, so it's not totally disappeared. There is about 4 or 5 stills. That's how we know that the other leg was intact. You can actually see the other leg intact, and
so So there's eyewitness testimony from multiple people, ufologists and people in the media who have seen this footage. Yeah. And there's also several stills of the film, but nobody knows where it is or why it hasn't been released or anything.
Some of the claim is that it's Volker Spielberg, who was he was the man who financed the money supposedly, which I think is probably true. I think he did. He lived in Germany or Switzerland or both, and that he now has he kept this footage as a sort of, because he was the original buyer of all the film reels, so he got to keep that. But it's very unlikely that he would have this footage, and if he has got the footage, why wouldn't he market it or even just a bit of it, because they could make millions all over again.
Exactly.
And even if you think it's a recreation, then let us see for ourselves. Let's see, because the whole claim of it being the claim by people that it was a hoax was that there was an incorrect medical procedure. I mean, how someone knows there was an incorrect medical procedure back in a 1947 style, how they knew about that.
There's a couple of points about that. I was watching an interview with Santilli from around '96 or something, and it was from an American TV show, and they had him on like satellite, and they had someone in the audience saying, well, if you had an alien from another world, you wouldn't do an autopsy haphazard in 6 minutes. you take a long time to in meticulously going through everything and removing organs, and it might take days or weeks to complete the autopsy, and the footage is just like what, like a few minutes, like 3 or 4 minutes long, so that doesn't make sense. But Ray came back with a very interesting point. He said, look, we don't know how long this fucking autopsy took. It might have taken months. All right, because the footage is not in one linear fashion. It could have been multiple sections recorded over days or weeks, and then put together in one stream, right?
There is actually a big clue, because the big clock you can see in the background. I mean, there is actually someone who's gone through it all and date stamped every time so there are gaps in between, and I think it was at least over a couple of hours, so it wasn't something that had just been. And the cameraman had to the film ran out, and he would always have to obviously insert new film and all that sort of hassle. And he was wearing supposedly one of these big bio suits as well. So there's a lot more to it. And of course, apparently, if you believe the cameraman's story, he said that one being was dead at the site, and then 3 survived. They said the 2. We don't know who done the autopsy of the first one and where that was done, but the 2 other ones, the next 2. Were done at this lab in Dallas Fort Worth in, I think, a month later. So they had survived maybe a month or a few weeks, and then so apparently one lived to 1949, and this one was autopsied in a large conference room in 1949 with like people from other countries. So again, it's a very interesting background story to this, and. We may not truly know how many crash retrievals and things. I mean, we obviously know about Roswell and things, and then maybe the San Antonio.
Apparently, there's been many over the years, though, right? Many.
Oh yeah, and it is, it is a highly top secret thing. You can argue about how the cameraman managed to get hold of the footage. I mean, was there a security lapse? I mean, it was, it's not like 2021, where things can go wrong. And maybe there was higher forces at work. Maybe it was meant to be. I don't know. Maybe sometimes I'm quite philosophical. There's almost like a cosmic trickster involved in this subject. And some people would say, well, it's very convenient that you can't see, the nurses, the surgeons, because they've got these biohazard suits on. So right. You can say, well, that's a good excuse. But on the other hand, you could say, well, they're dealing with, creatures off-world, supposedly off-world. I mean, I don't rule out inner Earth beings, to be fair.
Well, it makes sense that they would be wearing some kind of protective
cover,
right? I mean,
and you can't, obviously, and you can't see them. Yeah. Although you can see the doctor in the viewing window, which is very interesting.
But he's got a COVID mask on.
Yeah, he made that famous before COVID.
Exactly.
So, but you can see his eyes, and I think, and people have said, well, why would he be wearing a surgeon's mask behind that? If it's a contained, sealed room, why would he be in disguise? But, for me, this was a military film, and, for whatever reason, I feel like they would always protect the identity of people as much as they could. It's like when, like the soldier holding the debris, you would never show a picture of the actual face of the soldier. You just show the actual alien artifacts, but people will argue that point. But I don't find anything, because a lot of these military films, it just does seem that people from China, you had a delegation from the Chinese saw it. Someone saw this footage at the CIA in Langley. So clearly you probably wouldn't want people identified, certainly back in the late 40s.
Now, you mentioned the debris footage. Now, for me, the debris footage is the most compelling out of all the footage. It is, because from my perspective, it's like, okay, well, it could the autopsy could be real. It could be what Santilli later changed the story to, that it's partially recreated because the film was damaged. But when you ask Santilli about the debris footage, he's like, yeah, that's nothing to do with me. We didn't do anything with that shit. That's just the footage that was given to us. But even if he's lying, to create all of those props, right? To put together the hand panels, the I-beams, all the stuff that you see in that footage. I mean, that's like a lot of work and a lot of money to do that. All based and it's based on a gamble, right? There's no guarantee that he would have made dime one from this shit.
I know.
Right?
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy because that footage was only released. They've just released a piece of footage from Roger Presley and Colin Andrews, which was literally just released a couple of weeks ago, which was when this footage became available, the debris, and that footage was actually first seen in June '95. So the first autopsy was shown in April, then the second one in May, and then there's a clear picture that there was technicians transferring this footage from the film stock into a VHS or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So and when you look at, like you say, I mean, the footage, even the not just the hand panels, but it's actually with the writing, the sort of hieroglyphic type writing. That's not even indentations. That's actually raised. And
right.
I think mentioned in Philip's book about a metallurgist saying how expensive that would be to actually just make a piece of metal that has raised sort of insignias on it and stuff like that. And there's also the bit where there's part of the hand panels being torn off, and you can see what looks like maybe fiber optic
inside
wires.
it. There's a scene where they move the camera over like a table with there's different size I-beams on it, and there's also some weird like globules of metal, like melted melted metal that is cooled, and all this stuff is on the table. Which, I mean, that is the footage for me, because I can go either way on the autopsy, right? But the debris, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, and also the other thing, Gareth, is because they set up these tents at the crash site in Socorro, and you can actually see the wind bellowing the canvas of the tent if you watch the footage.
Right.
There's lots of things that you can watch. I mean, I still watch that Alien Autopsy. There's things, if you just concentrate on it, I still find it absolutely fascinating. And even though the debris footage is quite short, I mean, you can really sort of closely look at the panels, look at the 6-finger panels, and just what looks like. It looks like little sensors underneath where the finger would go. Whether
that reminded me when I was looking at that, you got the handprints and you got like these little bumps. It reminded me of like little ball bearings that are sticking up.
Yeah, exactly.
That your hand would compress these ball bearings to make a contact or something. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah. So the idea being that these were control panels that controlled the craft, and that the beings themselves were acting like they completed the circuit, that they are in some sort of communication with the craft. And apparently the cameraman's story is that these beings were crying, screaming out, and they were clutching these.
They were holding the panels, right? They wouldn't.
Yeah, they were holding.
And there's a disturbing story, and I'm sure you're aware of it. When the military showed up at the site, they found these beings, or the ones that were alive, just holding on to the panels and screaming like, "Ah!" And one of the soldiers with the butt of his rifle smashed one of them in the face and took the panel off him. Remember that?
Yeah, that's the cameraman's statement. And actually, if you look at the clearer, because I've got like a better Betacam quality version of the footage, which is much more clearer than people have probably ever seen. But you can actually see, but even on the poor quality one, you can see this indentation. I believe it's on the left-hand side when you see the creature. So that does sort of validate that could justify that part of the story, and also a possible shotgun blast for the right leg. So it's pretty horrific sort of stuff.
Now, what I'd like to do, Colin, and I don't know whether I'm allowed to do this, but I'm going to ask you, and you can set me right if you know the answer, is I'd like to play the Alien Autopsy footage on the show, and we could do like a director's commentary. But I don't know whether is it copyrighted. Would I get in trouble, or should I not do it? What's
I mean, I've had a few run-ins with someone who claims that they made it. I think obviously I'm in dispute with that. But Ray himself has got. I mean, he has the YouTube footage on Orbital Media. If you put Orbital Media in YouTube and Alien Autopsy, that should come up straight away with not only the whole Alien Autopsy, but the debris at the end of it. So. I mean, if it's on YouTube, I don't really see. I mean, I don't see anyone's taken that down. And
but you know what YouTube is like, dude.
Well, I know
because
but,
this is how mental YouTube is, right? some people can upload a brand new movie that's not even in the cinemas, right? And it'll be on YouTube for months and no one says shit. I'll play a clip of a TV show for 30 seconds and get a strike. It's all over the place. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, mate, especially if he who can't be named is watching, you know. But I do wonder that, you know, if for God's sake, if you haven't seen the Alien, I think more people have seen that Alien Autopsy footage. I think the last claim was there was over 1 billion people have seen it. So, you know, how people, well, you know, it just shows that the power it has, that people are still getting their pants and, you know, knickers and a twist, whatever, after like 26 years for something that's supposedly a fake and was created in a
lab.
Well, or a flat.
In a flat. Yeah, we went there. Me and Ben went there one time. We made a little video where we went to that place where me and Tino and Ben, we drove over to that flat in London.
Yeah, I did a video with Ben there as well.
Yeah, and Ben was like, up there in that room, that's where it all happened.
Yeah, right. Sure it did.
But I don't know. Let me look. I got we can see a little bit of it here. I've only set it up so you can see me. Like, I guess stills are okay, right? I mean, I guess
God knows, Gareth. But I mean, really, I mean,
if I show like without playing it, I mean, I can jump around. I mean, jump around. I can and show little things and pieces. You know, I don't know. What do you think, Colin?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating.
You can see a little bits and bobs.
Yeah, and you have to remember that all these items were from the time. There was a debate about there's a microphone, and obviously there's a curly wired phone, and just below the.
There's the wound on the leg, right?
Yeah. So
now, what do you think it would? I mean, to make something like that. I mean, firstly, why would you even do that, right? If you're putting, why would you even
the left
have
leg
a
looks like
leg?
burns,
why would you do that?
Looks like possible burns, but the right one that doesn't look to me like, unless it's caught in some machinery on board the craft. But I don't think, you know.
And six toes. Look at the toes. 6 toes.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't really talk about that. So the hat. So what links the debris footage to the obviously is the fact that the panels are also 6-fingered. So, you know.
Here's a better shot of the toes. He's holding the one. This one looks like and
the foots look very like human-like. And this is the thing with the creature. It looks very human-like, and obviously it's got 6 fingers, but that's not totally rare because polydactyly has been known.
It's kind of rare. I mean,
it's kind of rare.
It exists. People do get it, but it's not like, you know, every other person has. It's pretty rare, but it does happen for sure. You know. And I want to find. I won't play it, but I'll jump around a little bit so you guys can get a good vibe for the. There's this one right here where they're, and if you look at the stuff in the background here, you got the clock.
Yeah, that's a good photo for looking at all the like the clock.
You can see the microphone hanging.
There's a
hanging there. 1940s
and there's like a danger.
Telephone.
There's a danger sign just next to the maximum working time. And then there's like Bunsen burners or instruments. And obviously the head, obviously that's. I mean, if you didn't see the head, you could say that possibly could be a body,
a human.
But when you see the head and obviously it's got like an atrophied mouth, so the mouth looks like it's frozen. So it looks like maybe over the years, or they have no need for vocal cords, so maybe it's just something that's no longer of use. And they've got these tiny little nostrils, but it's not like you would say a grey would be. It's not familiar. Yeah,
I mean, it's similar to a grey, but it's similar, but not exactly.
No, I think they have been called oranges because I think even the other thing, obviously, by the footage is it's black and white and it's not in colour, but it's sort of said to be pinky orange type creatures. And Dr. Michael Woolford said that they called them orange.
Here's a good part. Look, check this out, Colin. When they have big black eyes, but then they remove like a protective covering or something off the eye.
Well, no one ever really said this until they saw it at the time, because they always said, well, you see these creatures with black eyes, but no one was really suggesting that was a lens or something. And then I think the day after Roswell, Philip Corso did sort of say, 2 years later that, they actually had one of these lenses and they put it up, in their office, and they could actually, it was like, it was like with these night camera type technology where they could see in the dark, and they were sort of having fun, apparently running around the offices and seeing in the dark. But I mean, yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, the idea that is some protective, and the actual, and when you see the pupil of the eye, it's like a huge sort of, it's rolled up into the head almost, but the actual iris and pupil are huge.
So here you can kind of see the eyes. I'll show you the photo.
Just about, so
you can kind of see the eyes right here without the black coverings, and it does look like it's kind of rolled back into the face, into the head.
Yeah.
Rolled back. You can see that looking up, like going back into the head.
There's a lot of work going on here for a hoax, and I'm not buying it. And I sort of pick apart the story that someone has that it's a hoax, and they're apparently bringing out a book very shortly, but they've been saying that since 2007. So it's been a long time, but I feel like I have enough to sort of refute a lot of the things said in that book, and for such a hoax, there should be more people coming forward rather than just one person.
Let's take a quick look at the debris footage. This is fascinating. I'm not going to play it for obvious reasons, but we'll look at still images. Obviously, the people watching, if you want to see the full video, the full real video, if you just search on YouTube, you'll find it fairly easy. It's out there. Just search Alien Autopsy and you'll find the footage. But you look at this here, right? Now this is the table, and you can see it is in a tent. You can see the tent background, and in the footage you can see the wind blowing the tent, the movement of the fabric of the tent. And these are the hand panels that these creatures were allegedly holding on to, the ones that were alive that came out of the craft. Look at that. That's fascinating to me.
And they've all got tags on. You can see the tags, Gareth.
Right.
So if everything was named and tagged, it's as you would do, because I think even for human crash or something, all parts of an aircraft would be labelled and numbered, and that's a standard procedure, So.
And here's
someone knows a hell of a lot,
Here's some of the I-beams. They're all different sizes, with, as you can see, the raised lettering on the side of the metal. And these are also all tagged, all labeled. Yeah, let me see if I can find a better shot as it goes through. There's more of the eye. Now, these are the kind of, if you look, I'll move my mouse. You see what we're talking about? These globules of molten metal, these metal things right here. These were all there, all part of the debris footage right here. Look at that. And there. And what else we got? Let's see. I'll move forward a little bit more. Hang on. And there's maybe a better shot of some of the debris that they placed on those tables inside the tent.
Then there's a gas mask as well. I think on that pole, or you can.
Oh, where is that? I don't see that.
I think it's literally. I think that between the two tables.
Right here? I can't really make out what that is. Is that?
Oh, between the two tables, there's something hanging
thing?
down. Yeah, I think that's. That's it there. I think that's the.
It's hanging right there.
Yeah, I think that's been identified as being a gas mask.
I can't really make that out. Here they are. They're picking up and holding the hand panels. And if you look right around here, this is one of the ones that's damaged.
Yeah, the one in the bottom corner, right?
Yeah, split in half right here.
And that could be like what I was saying, fiber optics. Some people have said that there's something to that. There's a lot of effort gone into it.
There's another close-up of the hand panels themselves, and as you can see, the fingers, the 6 fingers, the 6 finger marks for the hand panels, where it looks like that they would kind of like place their hands, like in the spaces to kind of, I don't know, operate something, or who knows, you know what I mean? It's that kind of.
Isn't it? When the soldier lifts up the panels, you can see how, it's like he's holding up some fiber, or like balsa wood type, that sort of almost.
And
you don't get the impression that there's any sort of
Right, but I mean, as far as we know, that's exactly what it was, right? It might have been. Do you know what I mean? We don't know. I mean, it looks like aluminum or aluminium, but it could be. You know what I mean? It looks like metal, and to be honest, it probably is. But because they lift it up so lightly, we don't know really what it's made of. You know.
And isn't it funny how none of these props or none of these items are available to
because you'd think you make a good point, because you'd think that if this was all bullshit and they came out and said, yeah, you know what, 20 years ago we made all this shit up, they would have said, and look, here's the panel, here's the and they would have shown it to everyone, and everyone would have been like, oh yeah, okay, but none of this stuff is seen. We've never seen this stuff.
To be fair, Gareth, in the 2006 Eamon Investigates documentary, there's a rather embarrassing scene where they it's apparently raised back of his car, that they open up the back, and supposedly there is something that doesn't even look like the panel there, and a bit of the debris, and a film reel for good measure. Like it's just so embarrassingly contrived to sort of say, look, this is what you saw in that film, and if you actually steal that photo and blow it up, and it's I mean, at best you could say that the hand panel was a mold of some sort, and I think some people have said, oh, it was a mold for the panel, but yeah, where are all these items? I mean, I don't even think the so-called H beam, they call it a H beam, rather than an I beam, because
it's a lot thicker. It's a lot
much thinner. This is actually
exactly.
Much more thicker.
Exactly. So here's a side view of one of the I beams or H beams, and you can see the raised symbols on the side of the beam itself. You see that, and you can see the as we go forward. The guy, you can see that. Here's a picture of one of the soldiers or whoever holding the artifact, holding it up to the camera, showing it off. Here's another one, the guy holding it. That's a pretty big one. Look at the side. You can see that's the guy's hand right here, the hand holding it, and here's the beam itself in there. And there's a smaller one. There's many different sizes of these beams. Some are quite large, and some are very small. And
the other big.
And that's it. I think that's it. That's all the.
Well, the soldiers' hands are quite distinctive as well, and that's one of the things I always, in my lectures, I mention that towards the end about, well, if this person who's apparently been named as being the soldier, then we should be able to view his hands and compare it to the soldiers, because his hands should match that person's, if that's actually him, if that's the case.
Very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So what's next, Colin? Where do we go from here in regard to research from the Alien Autopsy? I mean, we haven't even touched on Kit Green yet. Maybe we should touch on that, because that is truly fact. That's one of the most that really points to this thing being real, right?
Yeah. I mean,
so you want to just because we got to wrap it up pretty soon, but if you want to briefly just tell everyone about what the Kit Green story was.
Yeah, basically, I think it was 2019, June, around that time. So basically, these leaked emails or correspondence from 2001, from around 2001, I believe it was, came out, or 2002 or something. And it was basically referring to the Alien Autopsy footage and saying it was amongst some high-profile people. I think Abe Mitchell was on, this email chain or whatever, and Eric Davis, and it was referring to Kit Green, who was a CIA scientist at the time in the 80s, late 80s, I believe it was 86, 87. He claims he saw this, I believe, in Washington.
At the Pentagon, right?
The Pentagon, you're right.
Yeah.
And he basically verifies, this is what I saw, this is it. I mean, the same room, blah, 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 and all this stuff. So this really put people freaked out, especially a lot of the debunkers, skeptics, and interestingly, a lot of the
I asked Richard Dolan about this when I was at Alien Con. I asked him about this, and when I did it in front of a big crowd of people in the panel, and I had the microphone, and they say, any questions, and they give you the mic, and you ask. And I asked the question to him about this, right? And when I mentioned, and I said, I asked the question at the end. I said, does this mean I'm holding the microphone? Does this mean we need to re-examine the Alien Autopsy footage, right? and the entire room burst into laughter, right? Ha ha ha! And even some of the panelists were laughing, but Richard Dolan was not. And he went into it and said, you know what, that's a very good question. And then he went into some of the reasoning as to what's going on here, which I found fascinating.
Absolutely. So, I mean, yeah, and that caused, everything sort of accelerated at that point. And I guess that gave me a lot of more credibility.
Yeah,
people
yeah.
didn't take it seriously. And there was a few incidents that happened not long after that. We could go into that another time. But, the story still drags on. There was an NFT token thing that Ray was selling, supposedly.
Oh, yeah.
And it drags on. I am doing a sort of an update actually on Friday at Kerry's conference. So it won't all be about that. I'll just be a small update really, with some of just some other bits to talk about. But but if you're interested, follow me on Alien Autopsy Analysis, which is a Facebook group. Really, you don't even have to go in. We just got about 1,500 members there, and I talk mainly anything obviously about the Alien Autopsy, but generally other alien-related footage, and so that's the best way of getting hold of me, I guess.
I was just going to ask you how can people find you, but you beat me to the punch. But that's that's cool. Well, Colin, I'm gonna let you go because I know you got to go and meet Ben
I'm good. Benny King.
Benny King from the Church of Bemlin.
Yes,
and have a great time. Pleasure to talk to you, Colin. Thank you so much. We'd love to have you back and dig further into this fascinating topic, man. Very, very cool. Have fun at the conference, and I will talk to you soon.
All right. See ya. Thanks.
Bye, Colin. Bye-bye. And there you go. And Colin shoots off into the ether. What did you guys think of that? Fascinating, huh? I mean, you got to admit, whether you think it's all bullshit or not, that shit's intriguing. There's a lot of shit going on there. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the chat, or if you're watching this on replay, in the comments. Let me know what you think about the Alien Autopsy. It's a highly controversial piece of footage that's either completely true, complete bullshit, or maybe somewhere in the middle. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. I'll be fascinated to see what you guys say in chat or in comments. But like I said, all we do, we present the information. You guys make your mind up, whether you think it's real, not real, or whatever the case may be. All right, it's time for me to wrap it up, but I should remind everyone to please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Join us. All that, join us. Subscribe. Did I hit the right button? No, I did not.
Do it now.
There you go.
Immediately.
There you go. Awesome. So go ahead and subscribe. Give me a like. We're up to 28. Can we make it to 30? Can we get to 30, please? 2 more likes. 2 more likes to get to 30. That would be wonderful. I'd love to go through your comments. I see there's lots of people talking about the Alien Autopsy and the like in the comments, but I really don't have time. I gotta head out. But once again, I want to thank you all for joining me this morning. If you're just starting your day, have a great Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. We're almost there, folks. Downhill all the way. If it's late afternoon, early evening, where you are, whether you're in the UK or in Europe or another part of the world, have a great evening. I will be back tomorrow morning on Mindset Mornings. Swing by, say hello, coffee in hand. And let me know your thoughts about the Alien Autopsy footage and the conversation we just had with Colin Woolford, some of the footage we showed. Let me know in the comments what you think. Whether you think it's a bunch of bullshit, whether there might be something to it, or I don't know. Just let me know what you think. I'll be interested to hear what you guys think about it. All right, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow morning. But until then, saying yo.